Hi, this is Larry, and we're here at the WXYC Madonnathon at the Catch Cradle. Tonight we have a very special show. We're going to cover the Madonnathon. We're also going to take you to Bass Mountain, North Carolina, and look at the horror show. Plus, we'll profile the Veldt, so stay tuned. In a small village just outside of Chapel Hill, a group of Hollywood filmmakers have returned to their hometown to create a shocking horror show for Halloween. STV takes you there for the special inside look.
In a secluded village just outside your back door lies a chamber of horrors like nothing you've ever witnessed. Tonight, STV takes you behind the scenes of a real Hollywood horror show.
Here we are with the co-creator of the horror show, Starr Jones. Now, Starr, how'd you get the idea to do this?
Well, last year we were in between films. We do films in Los Angeles. We have a makeup company, and we were in between films. We'd always wanted to do a haunted house on a grand scale ever since we were kids, and we decided to come back and do one last year, and then it went over really well, so we came back this year to do it again.
And what improvements did you make this year that you didn't have last year?
Well, one improvement we had, one nice thing we had was more time. We could always use time. We've increased it to about twice the size it was last year. And we've actually taken some time, as you can see, to build some sets and create some things that we didn't have a chance to do last year.
What kind of horrors await people here in the horror show?
All sorts of things. We have a graveyard and we have a crypt room, all sorts of ghouls and goblins and people running around to scare you. It's our main goal, to scare people.
Do people seem scared when they come in?
Oh yeah, they seem very scared. We've had people actually insist on leaving before they get through the entire tour. I guess some of them just can't take it. I don't know. Well, I guess that means we're being successful that way. I don't know.
And have you been getting a good crowd turnout?
Yeah, it's been pretty good on the weekends. It's a little slow during the week. Of course, I guess that's because a lot of people, are in school or at work. But on the weekends, we get a really good crowd. A lot of people will come out and be scared on the weekends. So.
Can you tell us about some of the specific rooms?
Okay, one of our main rooms, we have a lab room. We have pods and lots of lights. It's very colorful in there. And we have a guy on a gurney there, and we have a mad scientist in there. And that's a fun room. And then another room that we have is the crypt room, which is very dark and dreary and a lot of moss hanging and a lot of dead mummies laying around. But you don't know what's real and what's fake and what's real. So that's one thing that helps us scare people, because they walk through it and they don't know what's going to move and what's not going to move. Because one thing that I always noticed when I was going through haunted houses when I was younger is you had a lot of people in the house at one time that really ruined the effect, because you heard other people yelling and screaming and laughing. So we try to keep the groups divided up and paced out enough where they're not going to run into each other. We usually have between 12 and 15 people in the group. And we have a front guide and then the back guide who leads them through. And that way, like I say, if we do have someone who wants to leave early, we can accommodate them and get them out if they want to leave. So we try to take care of people. A lot of stuff you'll see in their house is stuff that we've done for movies. That's pretty much what we did last year. We had a lot of our effects and a lot of our creatures left over from movies, so we brought them back and did that. This year we brought them back, but also put them in surroundings and sets, and actually had some time to spend to build things. A graveyard, we've got lots of gravestones, fake tombstones. They look extremely real. Everyone who walks past them thinks they're real, which that means we've done it well. And there's some open tombs. We have a gravedigger out there, big tall fella with a big beard and a shovel. He looks at you rather meanly, so you got to be careful when you get around him. Let's see. But the graveyard is about twice the size it was last year. We've extended it around the back of the building, and then you walk through that and then back into the next building. We have a Watchers 2 poster that was at the ticket booth last year, and we left it there, and a lot of people, it's running now on HBO, which I didn't know. a lot of people come to take a look. Oh, I've seen that movie. We did the creature for that. So, and we have it in one particular place in the haunted house or in the horror show.
How long is it going to be going on, and what are the hours?
Okay, we started on October 11th, and we're going to be running straight through every day until the 31st of October, that being the climax or the apex of the Halloween season, being Halloween Eve or night, whatever you'd like to call it. We're going to be running from 7:30 to 11 on weekdays and 7:30 to midnight on weekends. And the admission is $5 for adults and $2 for children under 12, and then there is also a group rate available if you have.
To get to the horror show, take Jones Ferry Road to Greensboro Chapel Hill Road. Go down Greensboro Chapel Hill Road for about 25 miles and take a right on Bass Mountain Road. It'll be about 2 miles down on the left. For more information, call STV at 962-4788 or call the horror show at 376-8661.
Now, Starr, you're a native of Alamance County here. How did you go from this rural setting into being a famous Hollywood set designer?
A lot of luck, actually. Actually, my brother and I, since we were kids, were always playing around with makeup, playing with things that our mother had, and using cornmeal and corn kernels to create effects, all kinds of strange things we'd play with when we were kids. And then we got a little older, and you found out that you can actually, there are certain things you can purchase to create effects, and we started playing with that. And then we got a low-budget horror movie here in North Carolina. And we did that, and it went over pretty well, and then just word of mouth, and one film led to the other. So, and things got kind of slow in North Carolina at this time because the movies, there were a few coming here, but there weren't that many. So we pretty much, if we wanted to stay working steady, we had to go where the work was, which was in Los Angeles. So we went there and started working there. And we've done about 50 films.
What are some of the highlights of your career?
Let's see, I guess your highlights, you mean some of the bigger films. I worked on Eternal Affairs, The Abyss, The Rookie, Watchers 2, The Terror Within, War of the Roses. Just recently did some little bit of work on Star Trek 6, the next movie. I believe it's 6, isn't it? It's 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, but and we've done a couple of HBO movies, and we expect to maybe do a couple of those in the future. So
now, some of these movies you mentioned, like War of the Roses and stuff, what do you do for that? Do you do makeup or?
Well, it varies. It varies, because sometimes when we do a show, sometimes we'll do everything, all the makeup effects and all the straight makeup and everything for a film, or sometimes we'll be just called in to do a specific thing. Like on The Rookie, for example, the movie with Clint Eastwood and Charlie Sheen, we made duplicate dummy heads of both Charlie Sheen and Clint Eastwood for a car stunt. And then we did some pit bulls for some fake pit bulls for that show. So it just depends on the show. Sometimes we do everything, and sometimes we just do specific things. So it varies.
Now, Chapel Hill has a pretty good radio, television, and motion pictures major, and there's a lot of people out there who want to move to L.A. and gain a career. What advice can you give them?
What advice can I give you? That's kind of hard. Well, just try to do the best work you can do, and try to find out where the work is at, and just push yourself. You've got to do a good job, because if you do a good job, then people will recognize you and they want to ask you to work again, which is what happens with a lot of people. When we started out, we did a couple of films, and they liked our work, and we got along well with everybody we worked with. So you build a reputation that way, and then you'll get more work. As far as trying to break in, it's just people break in different ways by doing a low-budget film, or they might meet someone, they may know somebody. So it's a business that's hard to get into, but once you get into it, you think it's a really big business, as far as, the amount of people who work in film. But I find a lot of times that I work again and again with the same people, because you'll do a couple of films, and then a couple of films later you won't see some of those people. You'll do another film, and then you'll run into people that you did, you worked with a year ago. So the only thing I can say, just try to do your best work you can, and find out where the work is and go after it. Because you can't really do it or get into it unless you're around it. You have to be around it to get into it.
Okay.
The horror show runs through October 31st. For more information, call 376-8661 if you dare.
commercialism of music and its downfall.
So why are you here tonight?
To see the other bands.
I think she's very influential overall because she is so controversial that she has risen a lot of press amongst all kinds of people, and she brings the thought of how you can grab attention by just being very different. And I think she's a very powerful person, and it's scary to see how much power she has within the society.
I'm very scared of it.
We're back here at the Madonnathon with Jim, the other guitarist from Superchunk. Now, Jim, what does Madonna mean to you? Anything?
No.
Not a thing?
No, Larry, she doesn't. I mean,
are you playing?
She's a woman who has blonde hair, who is very successful at what she does, as we all wish we could be. I mean, I'm speechless about this whole concept.
Right now, we'd like to take a special look at one of Chapel Hill's favorite bands. They're currently in New York, recording a record for Elektra Records. This is the Veldt. The name.
Well, the word the Veldt, let's see, where did that come from?
It came from a book called The Illustrated Man about two children who had this imaginary playroom, and they went into this Veldt, which is a savanna located on the equator in Africa. Now, we also know that the Veldt is where lions graze and have all the, their kill and all that kind of stuff like that.
Although lions don't speak Dutch, it's a Dutch word.
Yeah.
The music.
Well, a mixture of hip-hop beats, kind of smoothed out on the Brit punk tip with a soul appeal.
Feel to it.
Meet the Veldt. Vocalist Daniel Chavis, his brother and guitarist Danny Chavis, drummer Martin Levi, and bass player Mark Whalen. The band has had its share of adversity in its career. It's recorded 2 albums, neither of which were released. Here's their story.
The thing is, we had an album recorded, went to England for 3 months. Capitol was in sort of a changing over, what they call it, some kind of bull. And it was a discrepancy among people at the company. And the new guy that came along didn't really like the album, so he dropped it.
Egos and attitudes played a big part of it.
A major role. Social interference played a big role. That's why we ain't having none of that this time.
The band also recorded an album for Chapel Hill's Mammoth Records, but problems with the front office caused the album never to be released. However, their loss was Polygram's gain. The band is currently in New York recording a 4th album.
We're going to Polygram with an open mind and a lot of ideas that we're secure about and things that we know that we need, as opposed to just letting people tell us what we need.
This is a new stage. This is a very new stage for us right now. So kind of like starting from scratch.
Although adversity like this has caused the breakup of many bands, it has taught the Veldt many lessons, and things are looking up.
Things are happening slow, but we're really positive this time. The slow process is kind of good because we're taking our time finding out about the contract. We're looking at different managers and trying to put everything into perspective, like we're rushing anything.
We're doing businessmen this time, whereas last time when we got signed, we were just musicians the whole way and let people say, I'll handle it for you, we'll handle it, trust us, blah, 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 blah. And you hear about that and you don't really believe it, but now we're businessmen first and
musicians last. But the music's still there though. We haven't forgot about that. Obviously, But this time it's like taking our time and just enjoying the time that we had, getting all these songs together, working with a new bass player. Mark Whalen, he's a great bass player. He's from the Popes. And things are just looking up.
Things are looking up indeed, and here's one of the reasons. A song called This Kiss, with special guest rapper Chill Most. That was This Kiss by the Veldt, featuring local rap artist Chill Most.
He basically has his own thing going, and eventually, I would like to help him out once we get going ourselves. He has his own material. He's in Chapel Hill there's a small rap scene between here and Raleigh. Nobody really knows about it. and he's just trying to get his own thing going now too.
Yeah, it was probably fun for him to come and play with us because there are no rap clubs, and there are obviously no black clubs where there's kids that go see alternative. You either go to the Cradle or you go to a disco club and dance, there's not like that middle ground where college kids go and see rap and commingle with black college kids or just regular black students or youths in the community. So that was really trying to help him out a little bit.
The song you're listening to right now is a song about Chapel Hill called Tinsel Town.
Tinsel Town is basically about Chapel Hill. About a little cliques going Chapel Hill, musical cliques, and bands don't like each other because of certain reasons. And I basically wrote a song about it because some people in Chapel Hill like such prima donnas that I think it's a really glitzy Tinsel Town, and it's a little musical community that nobody can really touch, and I think that's cool. So.
Does this mean the band doesn't like calling Chapel Hill home? Certainly not. But they do have their problems with local gossip.
When people aren't gossiping, they're trying to put down other bands and working together. It's pretty good. You have little flare-ups like the New Music Showcase when certain bands don't play that. You tend to have tears shed and animosity for no reason. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. A lot of good bands here.
We've been used as a scapegoat to draw in other kind of interest in Chapel Hill, but never really given full credit. But then you get bands who ain't about Jack, flip a lot of gang, and but the whole thing is those bands, can talk a lot of gang, but when it comes down to putting us on stage with them, we'll smoke them. There are some good bands like Dylan Fence. I like Tease Me Korean. They're really good bands, really innovative bands. There's a lot of good bands around, but besides them, there's a lot of negative vibes around sometimes. Like we even heard things like we were on the front cover of the Independent, and we heard that we got a lot of flack from that kind of stuff, a lot of racial stuff. That'll it's always there, but we don't really hear about it, but we know it's there.
How does the band rate Chapel Hill with other musical hubs such as New York and LA?
Small but just as productive in terms of creativity and the number of bands per capita. For instance, there's so many demo listen tapes and area tapes, but when you go to New York, most of those bands suck. They've got 24/7 Spies, Living Color, Sonic Youth. If you can think of some more bands, I'll give you $100.
What does the band attribute its success to?
In the beginning, we play anywhere. We play anywhere. We go anywhere, and we weren't skimpy about we're still not skimpy about where we play at, because we just like to play. It kind of got old after a while. People take you for granted sometimes when you do that. Like for example, fraternities or something like that.
We're actually not that popular. We just play the right shows.
Yeah.
We're popular once people see us, but not that many people know about the Veldt.
Outspoken, controversial, maybe. But there's one thing that's for certain. The Veldt is well on its way to success. Here they are in UNC's Great Hall with a song called The Way I Feel About You. What you're looking at now is a rare version of Lucky Starr performed by Mac from Superchunk. Next week, right here on Tinsel Town, we'll have more coverage of the Madonnathon, plus a profile of Johnny Quest. So tune in next week, Monday and Wednesday, 6:30 and 9 o'clock. We leave you today with a video from the Indigo Girls. This is Closer to Fine. Tonight on A Current Affair. For centuries, historical cost accounting has been the foundation of generally accepted accounting principles. During the past few decades, however, historical cost has come under constant fire for not representing economic reality. During the 70s, a major opponent was inflation-adjusted accounting. But like bell-bottoms and disco, this accounting method faded away with the 70s. The new opponent of historical cost is mark-to-market. Heralded by both accountants and financial analysts, mark-to-market is taking its toll on historical cost.
I've always felt that the pluses of reporting relevant current market numbers were far exceeded the costs and the lack of objectivity and audit issues that are associated with it. So I'm pleased to hear this news.
But like all traditions, historical cost is hard to dispose of, and supporters are waging their own campaign.
Let me tell you about these young kids out here today. I know you. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, mark-to-market accounting. I know you're trying it. And our forefathers founded accounting on historical cost, found right here in this book.
What about the thrift crisis?
Hello, everyone. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Welcome to A Current Affair for this Tuesday, April 21st.